Hello everyone. I'm reading from Enlightenment by the Natural Path. Chapter 1, A Fortunate Encounter. Once, some thousands of years ago, Maharaja Yadu, the great forefather of Lord Krishna's dynasty, was walking through one of the forests of his kingdom, when he observed a certain Brahmaman Avadahuta wandering about fearlessly. The holy man appeared to be young and learned. Being himself most learned of spiritual science, the king took the opportunity and inquired from him as follows: O Brahmahan, I see that you are not engaged in any practical religious activity, and yet you have acquired some most expert understanding of all things and all people within this world. Kindly tell me, sir, how did you gain this extraordinary intelligence, and why are you traveling freely throughout the world, behaving as if you were a child? Generally, human beings work to cultivate religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and also knowledge of the soul. Their usual motive is to increase the duration of their lives, acquire fame, and enjoy material opulence. You, however, although capable, learned, expert, handsome, and most eloquent, are not engaged in doing anything, nor do you desire anything. Rather, you appear stupefied and maddened as if you were a ghostly creature. O Brahmahana, we see that you are devoid of any contact with material enjoyment, and that you are traveling alone without any companions or family members. Therefore, because we are sincerely inquiring from you, please tell us what is the cause of the great ecstasy that you are feeling within yourself. Sometimes ignorant persons think that renounced spiritual life is meant for those who are impotent, homely, or incompetent in practical worldly affairs. They say that religious life is a crutch for those who are not expert enough to achieve a high status in society. The Gurus. The intelligent King Yada, who was always respectful to the Brahmahanas, waited with bowed head as the Brahmahana, pleased with the king's attitude, began to reply. "O dear king," said the Brahmana, "with my intelligence I have taken shelter of many spiritual masters, having gained transcendental understanding from them. I now wander about the earth in a liberated condition. Please listen as I describe them to you. O king, I have received instruction from 24 gurus, who are the following: the earth, air, sky, water, fire, moon, sun, pigeon, and python, the sea moth, honeybee, elephant, and honey thief, the deer, the fish, the prostitute Pingala, and Karaha hawk, and some innocent child, the young girl, the arrow maker, the serpent, the spider, the wasp. By studying these activities, I have learned the science of self. Please listen, O great Maharaja Yadu, tiger among men, as I explain to you that I have learned from each one of these gurus. The earth. A sober person, even when harassed by other living beings, should understand that his aggressors are acting helplessly under the control of God, and thus he should never be distracted from the progress of his own path. This rule I have learned from the earth. The earth is the symbol of tolerance. By deep oil drilling, atomic explosions, pollution, and so on, the earth is constantly harassed by demonic living entities. Sometimes lush forests are cut down by greedy man with commercial interest, and thus a desert is created. Sometimes the earth's surface is soaked by the blood of fighting soldiers in savage warfare. Yet despite all of these disturbances, the earth continues to provide all the necessities of living beings. One may thus learn the art of tolerance by studying the activities of the earth. The mountain and the trees. The Brahmavan Avadahuta continued. A saintly person should learn from the mountain to devote all of his efforts to the service of others, and not to make welfare of others the sole reason for his existence. And as the disciple of the tree, we should learn to dedicate himself to others. Great mountains sustain huge quantities of earth, which in turn give sustenance to innumerable forms of life, such as trees, grass, birds, animals, and so on. Mountains also pour forth vast quantities of crystalline water in the form of falls and rivers, and this water gives life to all. By studying the example of mountains, one should learn the art of providing for the happiness of all living entities. One may similarly take excellent lessons from the pious trees who give countless benefits such as fruit, flowers, cooling shade, and medicinal herbs. Even when a tree is suddenly cut down and dragged away, the tree does not protest, but continues to give service to others in the form of firewood. In this way, one should become the disciple of such magnanimous trees and learn from them the qualities of saintly conduct. One should dedicate all of one's wealth and other assets to the welfare of others. By one's acquired opulence, one should especially try to please the spiritual masters and the supreme personality of Godhood. Thus, the demigods, as well as truly respectable superior personalities, will automatically be pleased. By developing saintly conduct, as described in this verse, one will become tolerant. This will free one of the useless agitations of the material. This will free one from the useless agitation of the material senses, which drive one to wander throughout the world, searching in vain for material happiness. Lord Sri Kanyatanya Mahaprabhu has also emphasized the tree's quality of tolerance. Torora eva, one who is as tolerant as a tree can chant the holy name of Krishna constantly, finding ever new satisfaction. The wind. The Avahuta further explained to Maharaja Yahu, even a transcendentalist is surrounded by innumerable material objects which possess good and bad qualities. One, however, who has transcended material good and evil does not become entangled even when contact with material objects. Rather, he acts like the wind. Sometimes the wind blows through a beautiful forest, carrying the fragrance of the fruits and the flowers. When the wind passes over waterfalls, it carries fine drops of clear water, becoming most refreshing. At other times, the wind may fuel a fire which burns the same forest to ashes. But the wind, being fixed in its own nature, remains neutral in both its auspicious and inauspicious activities. Similarly, within this material world, we will inevitably face both pleasing and disgusting situations. If, however, we remain fixed in Krishna consciousness, we will not be disturbed by the inauspicious, nor will we be attracted to the materially auspicious. In the course of his spiritual duties, a devotee of Krishna sometimes finds himself chanting Hare Krishna in a beautiful country atmosphere, and sometimes he finds himself doing the same thing in a hellish city. In both cases, the devotees fix their mind upon Lord Krishna and experience his transcendental bliss. One should therefore learn from the blowing of the wind the art of moving through the material world without attachment. And the Avahuta then said, although a self-realized soul may live in various material bodies while in this world, experiencing their various qualities and functions, he is never entangled, just as the wind carries various aromas but does not actually mix with them. Although the mighty wind blows clouds and storms across the sky is never implicated or affected by this activity. In the same way, the spirit soul is not actually changed or affected by contact with material nature. Although the living entity enters into a body made of earth, water, and fire, and becomes impelled to act materially by the three modes of nature created by eternal time, his eternal spiritual nature is never affected. O king, a saintly person is just like water, because he is free from all contamination and gentle by nature. By his speaking, he creates a beautiful vibration that is like the flowing water. Simply by seeing, touching, and hearing such a saintly person, the living entity is purified, just as one is cleansed by contact with pure water. A saintly person, just like a holy place, purifies all those who contact him, because he always chants the glories of the Lord. The conditioned living entity falsely identifies with his gross material body and subtle mind, and thus falls from the platform of spiritual knowledge. He is always lusty for material sense gratification, and he does not acquire it. He becomes angry. Sometimes he is so obsessed with the fear of losing his material gratification that he enters a stage of approaching madness. 10 minutes is all I have. So that is the end of the reading for this episode.